Here we go again. Another NHL season. Just right around the corner. I love you guys, and welcome into this very special edition of All Andy Alfred, the NHL preview show for you here on ClayFan23. I am your host, Andrew Alfred. Welcome you into the program. In a matter of moments, we're going to welcome in a good friend of ours. He is one of the beat writers from Chicago Sports. Apparently he's coming in right now. Joining me right now on the Sprint hotline right now from Chicago, it is Nick Devera. Nick, welcome into the program.
Hello, Andy. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic today. We're getting ready for another season of NHL hockey, so let's break it down for you. With the especially with the Blackhawks coming off of this nice championship run, we'll start off with the NHL Central Division. What is going to be the key for the Blackhawks to repeat as champions this year?
Well, for the Blackhawks to repeat, I think the big thing is the new goalie Turco's gonna have to step up, and the kids they got from the trade they sent are also gonna have to step up. But the Blackhawks really aren't in a really bad predicament. If you look at their roster, they still have Kane, Tays, Hossa, Sharp, Brower, Kopetsky, Bolin, Keith, Seabrook, Campbell, and Jomerson. That consists of the top two lines and the top two defensive pairings on the stretch. It wasn't so much of a gutting as it was letting go of the expendable players who were key, but not the core or irreplaceable.
Interesting. You talk about those key assets that the Blackhawks did lose this year. I mean, you lost Bufflin, you lost Niemi, of course. You lost Ladd. I mean, do you think honestly that the Blackhawks could make a postseason run this year with all these losses that the Blackhawks have faced this year?
Well, looking at the rest of the division, no one else really got better. Yeah, Detroit added that player. Nashville's still good. Uh, Columbus is better, and St. Louis added that goalie from Montreal. But I think when you look at the division, I think Chicago still has the best team of the five.
I know we're in the Toledo market, so we have to talk about this. We have to talk about the Red Wings, of course. The Red Wings yesterday signed a deal with Mike Modano for a year. The Red Wings honestly, in my opinion, don't look like the team that they were 2 years ago that made that championship run and lost to the Pittsburgh Penguins. However, the team that they have now reminds me of the late 90s when they were starting to try to get together and won the championship in 98 but then fell apart in 99. What do you suggest? What do you think the Red Wings will do the rest of the free agency, then going into the regular season? What will happen with the Detroit Red Wings this year?
I think going in the rest of free agency, I don't think Detroit has too much room left on their cap. I think going into the season, I think Detroit's probably the second best team in the division. Like you said, they're not the same team that went to the Stanley Cup back-to-back years, but they're certainly better than most give them credit for. They looked old and aged in the playoffs, but I still think they're probably the second best team in the Central Division this season.
I think they would be the number 2 team. I think, and here's my prediction on this: the Central, I see Chicago, Detroit, and then I see Nashville, then I see Columbus, and then St. Louis. Because I don't think with the addition of that goalie, I don't think it's going to help their offensive line. And speaking of Columbus, since I've donned the Columbus Blue Jacket jersey today, let's talk about the Jackets. I mean, the Jackets are retooled. They got Nikita Filatov back. With their 10th season coming up here, do you honestly think there is a chance for the Jackets to make a postseason run, their second postseason run in franchise history?
Well, I think it's certainly the option. It's certainly there. The chance still there. You know, they like to do it on their anniversary, 10-year anniversary of being a franchise. In the West, it's certainly possible. If they can finish high enough in the division, if they can finish above Nashville, it certainly is possible. They added some players, they brought people back. I think it is possible. Well, I think it'll happen. Maybe, maybe not, but it certainly is possible.
It's interesting. we usually, me and Nick, usually are head to head on this, and he thinks that the Chicago Blackhawks are, I mean, the Columbus Blue Jackets are trying to get to the postseason and won't make it. I think this year they could make it. I mean, it's a toss up because we don't know. We haven't played a preseason game yet, but what we're looking at is the key assets in the off season, what the schedule looks like, and what the teams look like going into training camp. Do you have anything to add on that?
Um, Not really. I think you summed it up pretty well. Um, I think for Chicago, a big factor, as always, is going to be the circus road trip.
I totally agree with that. Let's go into the Pacific Coast. I mean, the one team you have to talk about right off the bat is the San Jose Sharks. The Sharks have always been in the playoff hunt. They've always controlled the division, but always, when they get into the playoffs, they seem to fold. Do you think that this will be another one of those years where they fold early on in the playoffs?
I do. And during last year's playoffs, a lot of people thought that was going to be the year they were going to do it. But remember, they thought a lot of players were going to leave with free agency, and the only real player they really lost was Nabokov, the goalie. Um, I think San Jose would be another one and done. Probably win the division, but probably another one and done season.
What do you honestly think about the rest of the division? You have Phoenix. You also have Dallas. Dallas losing Mike Badano, and you lose Marty Turco. Do you think that this division is basically summed up as San Jose's division? They have it won automatically, or do you see Phoenix, or do you see Los Angeles or Anaheim coming out of the woodwork and just surprising the NHL?
I think Los Angeles can make a run, but like you said, I think it pretty much is San Jose's division. Dallas lost the guy to Detroit. They lost Turco, and I don't really think Phoenix can be able to reproduce a season. I think that was mostly inspired by, oh shit, I think we're gonna leave. Let's uh, let's try and play good and stay here.
Yeah, you're kind of right on that one. You're kind of right on that one. Let's take a look at the Northwest. The Northwest Division has Vancouver, Colorado, Calgary, Minnesota, and Edmonton. I know your feelings about Minnesota. Minnesota doesn't look like a club that's going to do it this year. Vancouver's always been the front runner in that division, but Colorado has been adding a lot of key processes to this organization. Do you think that Colorado has a chance to do it and overtake Vancouver, or do you think it's just Vancouver, just like in the Pacific? Do you think it's just Vancouver's division to lose?
I think it's Vancouver's division to lose. They would have the stud goalie, Roberto Luongo, the Sedin twins. Vancouver's very good. You know, they're always going to be there. I think Colorado is going to make the playoffs, but I think, like you said, I think it is indeed Vancouver's division to lose.
I agree. I totally agree with that. Let's get into it then. We're gonna make our predictions for the Western Conference playoff race right now. This is my prediction. It could change. You never know. It could change. In the West, I have San Jose going as the number one seed, of course. It's just because of, I mean, it's San Jose, and San Jose's retooled and they've refinanced, and they're really, really ready to go for another playoff run. Chicago will be coming in second, winning the Central Division. Vancouver coming in third, winning the Pacific, the Northwest, of course. Then I have Calgary winning it because of the key assets that they've gotten in the draft. Young kids can come up into the club, and they can really skate hard. And with the loss of Camilleri, it just could be the year for Calgary. I have LA fifth. I have Detroit running in sixth place, and then I have the Jackets in seventh. The Jackets who need a key asset on the defense line for line 4 and line 2. If they don't get those key assets, look out. The Jackets could be in a dire trouble. And then I have Nashville running in 8th place. Nick, you've been breaking this down since the end of the season. Let me hear your prediction on this, and let's see if one of us is correct or not at the end of the season.
Well, like you, I had the same division winners, different order. I think Chicago is the number one seed, San Jose second, Vancouver third. I think Detroit's going to surprise a lot of people. I think they're actually going to finish fourth in the West this year. I got the LA Kings finishing fifth. Sixth is the Avalanche. Seventh is the Preds, and I think eighth. I agree with you on Calgary, but I have them lower. I think Calgary surprised a lot of people this year.
And where do you see the Jackets falling in line? Do you see them finishing 9th, 10th, or do you see them finishing like they did last year in 12th or 13th place?
If I had to guess, I think they finished around the middle. I think they finished 11th or 12th, not 9th or 10th, not 13th or 14th.
Hockey season's just coming around the corner for both of us. We've had you on the show before. We know that you're a Chicago White Sox fan, and the White Sox are leading the division over the Minnesota Twins. We're getting a little baseball in for this, besides this the NHL preview, but we have to talk baseball because the White Sox are so hot right now. I mean, you guys are playing the Detroit Tigers in this 4-game set in 3 days. I mean, what's some key assets for the White Sox so far? Do you think that they'll be making a long postseason run in the American League for the American League?
I do. The White Sox pitching, which was supposed to carry them all year, is finally turned around in June. It slumped in April and May. Burley, Floyd, PV all were terrible. Freddie Garcia really nutted up and became a man that he has been. Plus the reburns of Paul Konerko and Alex Rios, Alexi Ramirez, Omar Vizquel. Everyone's contributing, and that's something you want. The bullpen's been strong with Putz, Jenks, Santos, and Thornton as usual. I think they do win the division. Not by a big margin, maybe like 4 or 5 games, but I think they win the division, go deep in the playoffs. The pitching's just too strong for them not to make the playoffs.
Okay, I guess we're gonna hold you to that. My Tigers are gonna struggle. I know we're headed down to the cellar, folks, but hold on. We're gonna be riding this ride for a long time. Nick, it's been a pleasure. I hope we get to talk again soon. I hope we get to see each other again. We had a lot of fun together, and I'll talk to you later.
Thanks, Andy. Same to you. I'll talk to you later.
That was Nick Devera, a friend of ours from the show. That he is one of the Chicago sports writers in the Chicago area, giving us his prediction on the NHL season. I will see you tomorrow for another edition of All Andy Alfred right here on Clayfan 2-3. Have a nice night, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow.